What is he saying? He's saying that what they want to do is to loosen credit up again so that people could continue to borrow. And that's going to somehow regenerate the economy. Well, it was loose credit and having people borrow that got us into this problem. The nation is overwhelmed in debt. And now the solution is, well, we have to unfreeze the credit markets so that people could go out and borrow and buy cars and build homes. So, I mean, this is pure insanity, and no one is saying it. Instead, they're like these bobblehead dolls on the back of cars. You know, they're agreeing with it. And this is the quote from him. Our goal is to quicken the day when we restart lending to the American people. And he goes on, you see, the flow of credit is the lifeblood of our economy. The ability to get a new loan is how you finance the purchase of everything, from a home to a car. Flow of credit, the ability to get a loan, well, all this sounds positive, but what does it mean? It means taking on more debt and borrowing more money.
Meanwhile, they're announcing openly that it's socialism, as if that's a good thing, but giving most of the money to the banks, that's not really socialism, that's just highway robbery or piracy. But they are giving hundreds of billions of chicken feed, $15 every few weeks, to the general public, selling them on the idea that all this debt is owed by the people when it's a pittance. I mean, it's just amazing to see them looting and robbing the middle class to give it to the elite and the poor.
And that's exactly what they're doing. So, you know, here we have, I mean, private sector credit market debt is 174% of the GDP. This is amazing. There's never been any numbers like this. In 1962, consumers had 37% less debt than income. Now they have, in 2001, they had 1% more debt. And now it's way over that. The U.S. debt to income ratio rose in the past 7 years as much as it did in the past 39 years.
Which means we were already in a predatory economy that was already going into deep recession, depression years ago. In fact, I saw the headline from the federal government in January of 2007. They announced the United States is at the highest level of debt, not just in U.S. history or even the depths of the Great Depression, but in world history. Now we are a negative savings country. And as you said, it is now accelerating way past the record.
And what is the solution? Print more money, let people borrow more, put them deeper in debt so they could become more of the indentured servants that they've become so they could bail out the big guys. I mean, look at this AIG thing. It's what, up to $160 billion? And they're saying they're too big to fail? Who did the money go to? Oh, it went to Deutsche Bank. It went to Goldman Sachs. It went to the Merrill Lynch mob. The Bears, you know, one after another.
Sir, how outrageous is it? I mean, give us your expert take on this. To have Senator Sanders say to private Federal Reserve Chairman Bernanke, where did the trillions go? And Bernanke says, I'm not going to tell you. I mean, total gangster. I'm not telling you. Kiss off. Ron Paul yesterday said they should be arrested. I think it was very, very bold of him.
Oh, I agree with Ron Paul as well. These are criminal acts. And I don't know how, you know, the country is getting what it deserves if it stands by and keeps letting this happen. They keep coming up with this too big to fail mantra. And what is there? I can say this with all certainty. Their mother's not better than mine.
Yeah.
They're too big to fail. You know, I mean, and everybody else listening out there, it's the same thing. They're not better than we are.
Well, take Madoff.
This elitist into this whole thing, that if they fail, then we all turn to dust.
And we know what they're really doing. They've been taking the money out the back door, buying real assets and moving offshore. I mean, this is just the final looting.
It is. And as you're well pointing out and alerting the people, you know, they have the troops in place. The government is ready to put down any resistance whatsoever, and they're going to start cracking down big time. I cannot begin to tell you the amount of emails we're getting about people warning us that I better keep my mouth closed because we're making a lot of people angry. And when I call people like Sandy Weil, rather than calling him brilliant, the former CEO of Travelers Insurance, who cobbled together Citigroup by doing a deal with Citibank, and then Smith Barney to create a one-stop financial supermarket, I call him a greedy little pig.
Stay there. I want to talk about threats because we've been getting them too. And that's the cherry on top when you really know it's a tyranny. Walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. Stay there. Gerald Celente. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of death threats, a lot of other dirty tricks going on. And then the FBI starts calling up the last few days when I'm on air to different extensions, going, hey, where's your office at? Yeah, this company, it's Alex Jones's company. Give me a list of where your servers are at, as if they couldn't find that or know that. It's like the mob calling up going, how's your kids doing when they play in the backyard? We do get calls like that at the house as well, or women calling my wife up going, hi, I'm calling for Alex. Well, who's this? This is his wife. Well, that's impossible. We're getting married. I'm pregnant. You're just totally made up, and it's really intensifying right now with the Obama deception. What does that sound like to you, Mr. Celente, along with the harassment you're getting?
It's about right, and we're also getting a lot of people saying that we need protection services. And just for a note, I'm a close combat practitioner, and my mentor is John Perkins of attackproof.com, and I've been at this for over 25 years. So, we're ready for whatever comes at us. Of course, you never know what could come in the dark of a night, but we're doing our best to stay alert and preparing for the worst, because as close combat practitioners, we're survivalists, and you always could pull back from preparing for the worst. But the people that are hoping for the best, if the worst happens, they have no room to move back from. So in these coming times, we're telling people, prepare for the worst. You always could have room after that, but if you're waiting for somebody to come and save the day, you're going to be in trouble.
Absolutely. You also are armed and believe in the Second Amendment, but that shows we're getting to them if they're threatening Gerald Celente and Alex Jones.
Oh yeah, look, I as I mentioned, at the break, I'm calling, this Ken Weil, Sandy Weil, the guy that put together Citigroup. He's a greedy little pig. I mean, they put all these local bankers, community bankers out of business, people that had good jobs as branch managers, vice presidents. They lost them, or else they became clerks for Sandy so he could make his billion-dollar pluses. The same thing with Bank of America. I call him Ken, greedy Lewis, money-grubbing Lewis. I mean, when does these people have enough?
Or the brilliant Larry Summers and Ron Paul, yourself, myself, we're calling for their indictment, their investigation, instead of them grandstanding as our saviors. They can't get us all if we stand up and say, you're the crook, you're the pig. It's not going to work for them.
Exactly, and that's why, shows like yours particularly, and the people that listen to you, to coin a phrase, now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. Because if people don't stand up, we're going to be mowed down, and it's as clear as the day. It's happening, and again, this began under Bush. It actually began under Reagan. Under Clinton. He started taking away our Fourth Amendment rights and accelerated under Bush, and Obama's carrying it forward. It's to put us into servitude again with this whole mantra of too big to fail. Psychologically, that says the rest of us are too small to save. And it's in the grand tradition of, this whole Titanic mentality. The lifeboats are there. The life jackets are there. The life rafts are there. But they're not for the little people. They're only for the too wealthy to sink.
That's right. They lock the
poor.
port.
Is going on now.
Actually, as you know, locked the poor in the bottom so that the elites could all run off and leave the women and children. Now, expanding on that, it's clear they're going to just keep bankrupting everything, set up their world government system, then try to refinance everything on our backs. And if we don't like it, Northcom and the militarized police are standing by. I mean, this is high treason. The country hijacked, just like the central banks hijacked third world countries. How do we stop that, or is it just going to run its course?
Well, I don't know, how it's going to stop, because I have to tell you, Alex, that, I'm a believer, my moral belief and the way I was raised, in religion that I was raised in, it's criminal to kill innocent people. And all the evidence is out there now that the Iraq War was as we saw with the McClellan and other people coming out with information, that, they knew that Saddam Hussein didn't have weapons of mass destruction or ties to Al-Qaeda.